Before I finish the video, there is something I gotta show you. What's gonna be for breakfast? Unimportant. What am I gonna wear today? Unimportant. All girls had a crush on my friend. Let's be honest. If you're seeing this, it's not your first introduction to lucid dreaming. Surely. But I too used to watch so many YouTube videos about lucid dreaming. I actually got into it at a very young age, and so over the years I have successfully made a lot of experience myself. So before anything else, let's actually just clear up a few misconceptions about lucid dreaming. So here is 3 things that lucid dreaming is not. Number 1, hard. Lucid dreaming is not hard. Regardless what age you are, it may take you some effort, but it isn't actually difficult to do. Number 2, instant. Lucid dreaming is not instant. There is actually a surprising amount of people who have their first lucid dream almost instantly after first discovering the topic. But you may just as well go on after this, first night of success. You might as well go on to have 2 weeks following without any lucid dreams. So don't stress yourself, don't be in a hurry. Your time will come. If you've had that first lucid dream pretty much instantly, congratulations, you've proven to yourself that it is actually a real thing. And I think that's a huge success, to be honest. I remember after my first time waking up from a lucid dream, I wasn't even having a proper lucid dream. I just the moment I realized I was dreaming, I got so excited that, I got too caught up in the excitement and instantly woke up. But even though it was basically just the moment of realizing, oh, I'm in a dream, I'm dreaming, my consciousness waking up, even though it was just this short moment, the fact that it proved to me that this is a real thing was invaluable. And then number 3 of what lucid dreaming is not, it's not scary. There is so many YouTube videos out there talking about things that you need to be careful about, that you shouldn't do in lucid dreams. But, I was always kind of suspicious about these things. And over the time, I tried out pretty much all of them. And nothing really bad ever happened. I mean, in the end, when you're aware you are dreaming, what's the worst that can happen anyway, right? So, but the thing is, the dream world is it's very different than our physical world, because here we have the laws of physics and the laws of the material. But in the dream world, there reigns more so the law of what you expect. So if you're expecting something terrifying to happen, then, chances are that it actually will. But even then, you'll still end up waking up just fine, So yeah, so much for what lucid dreaming is not. So then you may now ask, well, okay, then let's try it out. How do I actually lucid dream? And obviously there is different techniques to initiate a lucid dream, but there is one that, in my opinion, is far easier than the other methods, and that is the dream-induced lucid dream, which basically means you enter the dream first, and then in the dream you realize that you're dreaming and wake up your consciousness. Other methods may immediately go from the waking state into a lucid dream. This is actually kind of very similar to when people do astral travel. They also go kind of from the awakened state immediately into a state where they relax their body so deeply that it ends up falling asleep while you keep the mind awake. So that's basically the trick of what lucid dreaming is, and also what astral travel is. These things are basically, in the end, the same thing. They just kind of present themselves a little bit differently at first. But yeah, this is not really what I wanted to talk about. What I basically was going to say, the easiest way to get started is really, I know you've heard it a million times, but write your dream journal. Remembering your dreams well is the most important aspect of lucid dreaming by far, because not only, of course, when you have a lucid dream, do you want to remember it after waking up, but remembering your dreams regularly and vividly gives you the ability to get to know your dream world better, right? So different people have different what is called dream signs. So basically, for me, I know I have certain phases throughout my life, or I've had certain phases throughout my life where I seemed to very often dream of school-like locations. And so when I realized, oh, I actually end up, seeing my high school friends often in my dreams, and actually being around or in school-like situations, I could, make myself aware of that. And just by being aware of it, your consciousness then becomes more sensitive to this situation occurring. Missy, come. And so then the next time you're going to be dreaming and you're in this situation that you know for yourself, you figured out for yourself that this situation occurs in your dreams pretty regularly. Once you've made yourself aware of that, then even when it happens inside a dream where, you don't really have this consciousness that is going on in your waking life, where you question the things that happen, in the dream state, you just accept whatever happens, You may question a certain situation, but not really ever to the point where you think, wait, this can't be real, I must be in a dream. And yet, every night we dream of situations that actually this should immediately make it obvious that we are in a dream, right? But the dream state consciousness just can't really recognize that so easily. And that's exactly why writing your dream journal is so important, because it makes you more aware of the types of situations that you actually end up encountering in your dream. And then you can teach your subconscious to look out specifically for these types of situations. And now the second basic step of learning lucid dreaming is, this is definitely the second most crucial step, and I would say these two steps are the fundamental that you need to focus on to learn lucid dreaming. There is, of course, once you have incorporated these two things, there's of course more little things you can do on the side, but just to get into the rhythm a bit, I recommend not overwhelming yourself and just starting with these two things. And the second one is, of course, doing reality checks. There is endless different reality checks you can use. I've been using the same one since I was 14. So I started practicing lucid dreaming when I was 14. I'm 26 now. There was definitely, for me personally, a huge gap where I only had very few lucid dreams per year because I was smoking a lot of weed. And for me personally, that made remembering dreams, especially remembering dreams vividly, very, very difficult, like pretty much impossible. It was very lucky nights in that time where I was able to have a lucid dream, but that's another story. Regardless, there is endless different reality checks that you can do, and a reality check is basically just a little test you can do on your own person that makes use of the fact that the dream world isn't physical and material like this world we're walking right now. You probably actually know the movie Inception, which is, basically about lucid dreaming, but obviously quite a bit more fictional, with them, entering each other's dream and everything. But even here, the main character uses his little, I don't even know the English word, his little Kreisel, the little spinny thing, spinny top, I don't know what it's called, to test whether he's dreaming or not. Now, personally, in my opinion, this is a horrible, although very, high aura and cool method of reality checking. It's not actually a very efficient method of reality checking, since, the spinny thing can just stop spinning anytime, even when you're dreaming. So it's just, whether, of course, if it doesn't stop spinning permanently, then you're in a dream. But if it does stop spinning, you might be awake, you might be in a dream, so you just can't really be sure. My personal trusted reality check that has never let me down a single time is actually making use of the fact that while we are sleeping, while we are in the dream, our physical body is in sleep paralysis. And by that, I don't mean the state where you're kind of just woke up and you can't move and you can't call for help and it feels like this, being is coming closer to hurt you. That's not the sleep paralysis I'm talking about, the actual sleep paralysis. I'm talking about simply the fact that your physical body doesn't move while your dream body still does move. Because your brain, it still goes through the process of initiating all the movements that you end up doing in the dream. But thanks to the sleep paralysis, we do not actually do the movement with our physical body. And we stay still laying in bed. And so the simplest reality check that I do is just to close my nose and try to breathe in. Obviously, if you close your nose and you have your mouth closed as well, you will not be able to breathe in. But if you do this in a dream and your physical body is not actually closing your nose, you will just be able to breathe in through the shut nose. Now, just to prepare you, the first time you do this in a lucid dream is one of the most insane experiences you will have in your life. So look forward to it. I tell you that. And honestly, you barely even get used to it. Every single time it happens, every single time you successfully realize you're dreaming and you do the reality check inside the dream, it's a crazy, crazy feeling. And you know, it's such a happy moment just realizing, oh shit, I'm in dream space now. So let's go flying a bit, you know, let's go visit other planets, let's go fly through space on a whale, whatever you may want to do, right? And now the goal is basically just to do these reality checks as often as you can, really. It's just a matter of getting used to it, which sounds easier than it actually ends up being, because you don't really think about doing reality checks while going through the day, right? But especially whenever, you know, in the end, the more often you do them, the better, because when you get used to a habit, then eventually you'll start doing it in a dream. Even if you don't notice any dream signs, if you just do the reality check often enough, your subconscious get used to it, and you'll eventually do one in a dream. But this becomes much more efficient if you specifically do them in situations where you encounter your dream signs. Now, say you've already been writing down your dreams for 2 weeks. You know, you might not be able to remember something every night, especially in the beginning. It just takes some getting used to. But I promise, if you have the intention while going to sleep to remember your dream, it helps enormously, especially if you do it night after night after night. And now, imagine you've actually figured out your dream signs, and in these situations especially, you'll want to do reality checks, because these are the situations that you end up encountering in your dream. So that's why these are basically the 2 crucial steps toward learning lucid dreaming. Write your dream diary, you know, notice your dream signs, and do reality checks as often as you can, but specifically in situations that appear weird or you come across your dream signs. And so, before I finish the video, there is something I gotta show you, and it's my very first dream diary from when I was 14 years old. Now, everything I've written in here, it's all German, so I'm gonna translate it to you, but keep in mind, I was 14 years old, okay? Think about what you were like when you were 14, okay? So, I guess, let me show you a little bit my journey, I think it was about 2 weeks that it took me to have my first lucid dream, or maybe it was 2 weeks before I had my first proper lucid dream where I didn't immediately wake up. I don't even remember exactly, but I remember that it took 2 weeks. So let's actually see here in my dream diary. So the first page, I haven't written a dream. I've actually written some little reminders and questions for when I wake up. So here in this like thought bubble, I wrote, I'm going to remember what I dreamt. And then underneath there I wrote questions that I wanted to ask myself whenever I wake up to, really lock in the dream memory before I start writing it down. So anytime I woke up from a dream, I would ask myself these questions. Where was I? How did my surroundings look? Was it familiar or unfamiliar? What did I do? Were there other people present? Were there any conversations? How did I feel in the dream, in the happening? And then on this page, so these were the questions that I just read, and then on this page I have a few more reminders to myself. Basically, I just wrote them down once to like lock them in my memory. And here I wrote, what's gonna be for breakfast? Unimportant. What am I gonna wear today? Unimportant. What's gonna expect me in school? Unimportant. I really have to use the bathroom. Unimportant. Or I guess I asked, like, how badly? Same thing. Unimportant. So, first night, I immediately actually wrote down a dream. So, I guess it's not really important what exactly the dream was about, but you can see like this is the first dream that I wrote down here, and it's just this little bit. So it's not like I vividly remembered everything and immediately wrote down pages of dream content. No, I just wrote down the little bit that I actually did remember. The second night is already much more. You see, the second night, the whole page filled, plus a little bit on the next side as well. Then the third night, no memory, because I was awakened through long-lasting loud sounds, basically. So you can see the first night I didn't remember any dream. I was immediately like kind of pissed, and I'm like, no memory because some loud people outside. The dream the day after that, August 2nd, so this just now was August 1st. Has to be 2014, because I was 14 in 2014. I'm born January 2000, so it's easy to remember. August 2nd, this was my dream, just watching some YouTube videos. August 3rd, all girls had a crush on my friend. And the second dream, so this is the first time I woke up and remembered 2 dreams, not just 1 dream, so improvement after just a couple of nights, right? August 5th, again. Oh wait, yeah. So, August 5th, I had my first little lucid dream experience. Let me just check here. Oh yeah, right. So the situation was the following. I was at a family, and I was playing table tennis. I remember this. Like, I really remember this. I didn't even have to read it. I was just making sure that I remember right. But I was at a family, and I was playing table tennis with one of the kids. Like, I think it was like 2 sons and a daughter, so 2 brothers and a sister. And I remember I was with the 2 guys playing table tennis, and we were kind of annoyed by the sister as well. But then my aunt came into the house, like she rang the bell and came into the house and started talking to the mother of the kids that I was playing with, and she brought like flowers, and I was like, wait, Bianca, what are you doing here? why are you here? How do you know these people? And then she said to me, Sierra, how do you know these people? And I started thinking, I was like, wait, actually, I don't know these people. I've never been here before. And so I did a reality check. And immediately I realized I was dreaming. And actually, before I mentioned how I immediately woke up, but actually, I didn't immediately woke up. Initially, I wanted to just start flying, but I couldn't. My logic was too used to the physical world that it didn't just let me start flying away. And so instead, I basically spawned 2 of my friends next to me. I just assumed they were gonna be there now, and it just happened, kind of. I don't know. And then we just started running around, jumping over cars and over rooftops. Kind of felt a little bit like playing GTA, to be honest. And that's how quickly I had my first lucid dream, even though it lasted only for a couple of seconds before I, inevitably ended up waking up. And after that, I think it actually took a few nights before I had my second lucid dream. But, yeah. Apparently this first one didn't even take 2 weeks, it literally took like 1 week. Right? So I started with my first dream on July 30th, 2014, and then I had my lucid dream on August 5th. So, yeah, literally 1 week until I had my first lucid dream successfully. At the age of 14, by the way, so you can do it too.